Good morning, fellas, and welcome back to Me Plays Games. My name is Matt, and Super Mario 3D Land is a funky little game. So today we'll be looking at its speedrun, and I'll explain everything as we go. Alright, let's get started. The any percent world record in this game belongs to Zelda Cubed, with a time of 53 minutes, 31 seconds. In the first level, runners will ground pound this question block which contains a super leaf. This is faster than hitting it from below, because the leaf will fly straight into you if you ground pound it from above, and you don't have to pick it up manually. The super leaf is an incredible power-up for a couple of reasons. First off, you're able to swing your tail to kill enemies. That's nice, but the main reason you want this power-up is to glide. By holding the jump button, you fall way slower, which allows you to skip all sorts of stuff throughout the game. The fastest way to get around on flat ground is twirl jumping. To pull this off, you have to get a running start, crouch, then press the run button to swipe your tail and jump. Since this game has two run buttons, Y and X, you can hold one to run and tap the other to twirl. This run features approximately 10 billion twirl jumps, so it's important to learn them if you're speedrunning the game. This game also features star medals, 3 of which are hidden in each level. A few levels in this run aren't unlocked till you have a certain number of them, including the final Bowser level, which requires 100. So you'll see runners occasionally go a bit off the beaten path to get some of the easier and quicker ones. Another thing runners do throughout the game are crouch boosts. If you have enough speed, you can crouch while you're falling off a ledge and get a small speed boost. One last thing to note is that the optimal place to grab the flagpole is the bottom, since it takes less time to slide all the way down. So you'll see the runners go out of their way to grab the bottom in most levels. Next up is World 1-2. After twirling his way through the level and collecting all 3 star medals, Z-Cubed heads to the top of the level, since there's a secret exit that warps him to World 2. This is one of 2 secret exits he'll be taking. While they do skip some levels, it does also mean he has to grab more star medals in the levels he does play. So the next level is World 2-1, where the first order of business is to look into these binoculars to find a toad. This fella's got the first star medal of the level, which he'll throw onto this platform. After grabbing the last medal, Z-Cubed wall jumps up to the flag. Most of the time, if you're chaining wall jumps in a Mario game, you're using 2 walls facing opposite directions. But as we can see here, you can also do wall jumps on perpendicular walls. In World 2-2, you're meant to use flip panels to cross pools of poison. But thanks to the Tanuki suit, you can just ignore most of them. We also see a camera manipulation in this level. By turning the camera to the right using the D-pad, the winged block will appear on screen a split second sooner, lining it up for you to land on it. After this level is the first mystery box of the run. Some of them contain enemies you have to beat to earn a star medal, which is what we see here with the Goomba cardboard cutouts. But there are also golden mystery boxes, which give you 2 free star medals, and you also might find power-ups and 1-ups inside. We'll get back to golden ones later. For now, let's head to World 2-3, where we see a kind of funky mechanic called hyperspeed. When Mario long jumps from high up, you can gain a ton of speed by changing directions by 90 degrees in the air. So in this level, Z-Cubed is pressing up left for the long jump, then he's holding up right while he's in the air. Then by not holding the run button when you land, you can keep the speed you built up from the long jump, which Z-Cubed uses to land on the platform with the propeller box. After collecting the star medal, he intentionally takes damage, to go back to using Tanuki Mario for the rest of the level. 2-4 is a relatively straightforward level featuring red-blue panels, which flip every time you jump, and then it's onto the airship. Most of the airship levels in this game auto-scroll, which would normally be pretty easy for a speedrun, since in most Mario games you can't go any faster than the screen scrolls. But in 3D Land, the edge of the screen doesn't stop you, so you can skip ahead in the level, since the platforms are loaded in as soon as the level starts. That does mean you have to do a handful of blind jumps, so it's especially important to know what's coming next on the airships. That brings us to the Boom Boom fight. He takes 3 hits to kill, and if you got a Tanuki suit, the best way to kill him is to jump on him for the first 2 hits, then hit him with a tail swipe for the 3rd. And that's World 2 in the books. World 3-1 has a tower that you can go inside, but as you can see from this warpless run, which Z-Cubed did at Awesome Games Done Quick last year, you can also just, not. The propeller box allows you to scale it from the outside, but since we skipped a few levels earlier in any percent, you have to head inside towards the end for a star medal. Z-Cubed also holds the warpless record at 1 hour and 9 seconds, and he's able to skip the final star medal in that category. If you compare the 2 runs, you'll notice a lot of other differences in what star medals he grabs, but for today, let's focus on any percent. I'd recommend giving this warpless run a watch too, though.
Zelda Cubed, just like Logan and I, loves playing Mario Kart for the Wii. In Zelda Cubed, can you remind me, how many world records do you have in Mario Kart Wii again?
Okay, so the next level is 2-ship, and I'm gonna need to,
World 3-2 is a water level, so as you can probably guess, runners will try to spend as little time in the water as possible. In the beginning of the level, we can see Z-Cube stay at the surface, jumping out as soon as he lands in the water, then gliding to stay in the air as long as he can. The super leaf also comes in handy after the checkpoint, because you can use your tail to kill the porcupuffers, instead of waiting for them to clear the way. In World 3-3, runners pick up a star and run to the checkpoint with it. It makes you temporarily invincible, which is nice, but the main reason runners pick it up is because when a star is active, you don't lose momentum between jumps. That allows you to get a speed boost on this last jump here and hit the checkpoint. There's another toad holding a star medal in this level, so as soon as they spot him with the binoculars, runners do a crouch boost to catch the medal in midair. Awesome. Oh, this also skips a warp box, by the way. We take those. World 3-4 is one of a few levels that features tightropes. Mario moves a lot slower on tightropes, so the less time you spend standing on them, the better. Towards the end, you're meant to ride this question block to grab a star medal and warp to the flag, but Z-Cube jumps off the block and glides to victory instead. 3D Land has a weird system where several levels require a certain number of star medals to unlock, but they're also completely skippable. World 3-5 requires 15 star medals to unlock, but we can also just, move on. That brings us to World 3's airship, the only one in this run that doesn't auto-scroll. There is a cycle after the checkpoint with some skewers though, so runners will aim to catch the optimal cycle to make it through quickly and safely, while also grabbing a star medal. For this Boom Boom fight, runners will stick to the back left corner of the room, which manipulates him into winding up there after coming out of his shell. In most airship levels, Z-Cube gets a bit of momentum on the warp pipe, then jumps up to the flag, but this time there's a star medal this way, on the front of the ship, so he takes a quick detour this time. Next up is World 4. In the first level, you can grab a propeller box. You're meant to use the cannon to shoot yourself into the final star medal, but in the speedrun you can use the propeller box to reach it instead. Beating that level unlocks another mystery box. This time it's a golden one with 2 star medals. By choosing a specific color shirt for your Mii profile on your 3DS, you can manipulate what mystery boxes you get. For any percent, runners put on a black shirt to get a golden mystery box here in World 4. And for Warpless, you can get a golden box in World 4 with a brown shirt, or World 6 with a red one. This manipulation means you don't have to get as many star medals in regular levels. You can also pick up a quick backup super leaf in the mystery box. Since you can hold one power-up in reserve in this game, this is a nice safety net in case you take damage or die later. World 4-2 is a tricky vertical level with a lot of wall jumps. Not only do you have to pull them off while Piranha Plants spit ink on your screen, but you also need all 3 star medals. And there's also another secret exit hidden above the regular one. This one takes you to World 5. World 5-1 has an auto-scrolling section, where you have to wait for an octagonal platform to carry you up the shaft. Let's get some love for octagons in the comments. At the start of this section, Z-Cube takes damage from this boomerang bro and pulls out his backup leaf. It's gonna be a hot minute till he gets the chance to get another one, unfortunately. He stands in this corner while the spiked balls are falling, then jumps on the sand marks whenever they appear. As soon as the last set of spiked balls starts falling, Z-Cube starts wall jumping up the rest of the shaft instead of continuing to ride the platform, saving some time. Next up is 5-2, a level played from a bird's eye view, reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda. Fun fact, this level celebrates the 25th anniversary of the original Zelda game on the NES. Originally, this level was going to be World 2-5 to represent 25 years of the series, but Nintendo decided that was too early to place this level, since it's a reference to a whole nother game. So they flipped it around and put it in 5-2 instead. Anyway, Z-Cube collects 2 of the 3 star medals in this level, skipping out on the second one because it requires a fire flower instead of a Tanuki suit. 5-3 is another entirely optional level that takes 40 star medals to unlock, so it's on to 5-4. This is an underground level with a lot of tight spaces, and it's also full of Monty and Morty moles, so you have to take a bunch of them out to beat the level, and also to collect all the star medals along the way. World 5-5 features some more hyperspeed. After using the propeller block to reach the highest point in the level after the checkpoint, runners will jump off to the right, then hold up left to hyperspeed their way to the flagpole. This time, Z-Cube grabs the middle of the flag. Unlike pretty much every other level so far, we're grabbing the bottom as fastest. There's a different hyperspeed angle you can go for here though, which aims for the bottom of the flag. That's about as fast as aiming for the middle here. In World 5's castle, there's a skip you can do where you jump from these boxes to platform further ahead, skipping some moving platforms that are off to the right. Step on the switch to send the fake Bowser into the lava, and it's off to World 6. 6-1 is another level that features tight ropes, so runners will avoid walking on them for the most part. To help them out with that, they can do this skip where they jump off a fish to help them hit a block and grab a star medal. World 6-2 features elevators you're supposed to ride, but you can reach the last star medal faster by jumping on top of the elevator, then wall jumping again when it's close to the top. This strat was supposed to be called Elevator Skip, but because of a typo, it's been immortalized as Elevator Sip. Lovely. World 6-3 is a ghost house with 3 warp boxes in the opening room. The right way to the end of the level is the one on the right, but Z-Cube takes a trip through the wrong warp boxes as well to get some star medals. The last room before you get outside has some more tightropes. Fun. You can skip the tightropes in this room, but he doesn't quite pull it off in the world record. Here's what a tightrope skip ideally looks like. Shoutouts to Z-Cubed, by the way. He helped me out with the script and sent me this footage to use in today's video. That brings us to another mystery box. This time, Z-Cubed has to kill a bunch of Goombas to get a star medal. Beat blocks have shown up in quite a few Mario games since their debut in Galaxy 2. In most other games, there are 2 colors of beat blocks, and which color is active swaps every few beats of the music. But they work a little differently in 3D land. Here in World 6-4, there's 3 colors, and they operate on 2-bar cycles. In the first bar of the music, the blue, yellow, and red blocks activate on the first, second, and third beats. Then in the second bar, they disappear on the same beats. Because of this cycle, you can't go too fast or too slow. Otherwise, some of the blocks you need to step on won't be there. Z-Cubed also does some more 90-degree wall jumps to quickly grab the second star medal. World 6's airship is another auto-scroller, but unlike World 2 ship, it's best to play this level at the intended speed. Even though platforms are loaded during the whole level, star medals don't spawn until they're nearly on screen, and Z-Cubed needs all 3 of them from this ship. Since it won't cost any time, he also grabs another backup leaf here. There's a boss fight against Pom Pom at the end of this level, and she is not your friend. To hit her as quickly as possible, you pretty much have to stick to this tiny platform in the back of the room. But that's easier said than done, because she's constantly trying to slam on top of you, and she takes up a lot of space on this platform. Like the Boom Boom fight from earlier, Z-Cube jumps on her for the first 2 hits and hits her with his tail for the third. Alright, that brings us to World 7. First up is a water level. Or not. Yeah, you can just do 3D land shenanigans to effectively skip this entire level. In 7-2, there's a risky crouch boost you can go for to reach the flag, but if you mess up, you die. 7-3 is another option level we can skip, but just for the record, you need 70 star medals to unlock it. Welcome to World 7-4, the obligatory clock level, trademark. There's a tricky wall jump here that Z-Cubed gets on his second try, which allows you to skip a bunch of nonsense with Morty moles inside thin tunnels. You're meant to reach the flagpole from these rotating platforms at the very end, but you're able to glide over all the way from these L-shaped platforms further back. In 7-5, you're meant to ride a moving platform to the end of the level, but speedrunners jump off of Paragoombas and the thinnest platforms in the world instead. That brings us to the final level of World 7, another airship. This is another auto-scrollers runners do blind. This time, the boss fight at the end features Boom Boom and Pom Pom. Fortunately, they stick to separate parts of the arena, with Boom Boom staying on the lower level and Pom Pom on top. If you kill Pom Pom first, then the stage will drop, giving Boom Boom more room to mess with you. That means it's a good idea to hit them both one after the other, so Z-Cubed positions himself in the lower right of this arena to keep them close to each other. And now we're on to the final world of the game, World 8. At the end of 8-1, you're meant to use a cannon to grab the star medal, then use a warp pipe or the cannon again to reach the flag. But thanks to the Tanuki suit, you can glide off this platform as soon as you reach these railings, grabbing the star medal and reaching the end in one fell swoop. World 8-2 features a bunch of jet engines, and you can use them to your advantage. Instead of climbing on poles and waiting for them to drop you off on the other side, you can glide and land on some of the engines to skip ahead in a couple spots. At this point, Z-Cubed has 88 star medals, and World 8-3 is an optional level, so he skips it. Like I mentioned earlier, you need 100 star medals to unlock Bowser's Castle at the end, so you need to collect all 3 in each of the 4 remaining levels. World 8-4 is a glorified auto-scroller. The intended way to beat this level is by standing on these moving platforms and letting them carry you to victory. But there's just enough random floating blocks and moving platforms throughout the level, so you can do 3 big skips to reach the door at the end. Before the second skip, you can do another camera manipulation, which ensures that these platforms don't block you and you can actually stand on them.
Yeah, so basically you just flip the camera to the left there to prevent that brick wall from blocking him. So it basically came on camera later, and then it extends later that way.
The next level features red-blue panels again. About halfway through the level, you can skip over a bunch of them by jumping off of rocky wrenches, which also lets you keep your momentum after long jumping. This level is also a prime example of vectoring, where you curve your jump in midair to maintain your speed. That brings us to a mystery box, which we need to complete since there's a star medal inside. Unfortunately, you don't get spit out right after grabbing the medal, so you have to wait for the 10-second timer to run out. Now that that's done, you can long jump straight to the end. And now we've reached Bowser's Castle, sort of. There is a Bowser fight at the end of this castle, but there's 2 more levels to go after this, including another castle. On top of the 100 star medal requirement for the final level, you also need 90 to unlock this one, and at this point Z-Cubed has 94. With 2 levels to go, he'll land on exactly 100 by the time he reaches Bowser's castle proper. In this first castle, throw yourself into the lava over and over and over like a madman.
I'm not that bad of a... What? Well, wait.
Come on, Blake.
I'm trying, I'm nervous! I'm very nervous. I'm playing in front of a lot of people right now. Okay, I'm gaming.
By dying 5 times in a level, you get an invincibility leaf, a souped up white Tanuki suit that also grants, well, you know, invincibility. After 10 deaths, you get a P-Wing, which warps you straight to the flagpole. We'll be saving that for a little later. For now, Z-Cube just uses the invincibility leaf to get through this first castle level. The invincibility is a nice bonus, but he needed a leaf anyway, since he lost his last 2 from dying and replacing the backup with the P-Wing. But it's also nice to just be able to run into stuff. Boomerang bro? Gone. Runners twirl for their lives during this Bowser fight, and down he goes. After this level, runners will soft reset their game, which allows them to skip a cutscene where Bowser carries Peach further into the world. Once they're back in, it's time to move on to 8-6. If you finish a level as White Tanuki Mario, you'll turn back into regular Tanuki Mario for the next one. This level features a lot of stuff you can just skip over with the Tanuki suit, as well as a wall jump to avoid having to ride this moving platform. And with exactly 100 star medals in tow, it's time for the final level. At the start, you can use hyperspeed to skip pretty far ahead. By timing a long jump on this roller coaster right before it enters this tunnel, you can glide all the way to this platform, which is known as Coaster Skip. A little later on, you have to shoot yourself out of some cannons. You get the best shots by entering the cannon from the middle. It's actually fastest to bonk on the wall instead of landing on the ground, since bonking skips Mario's recovery animation as he gets up. And then... that's kinda it, actually. You're able to skip the entire Bowser fight by using the P-Wing. In most levels, the P-Wing warps you straight to the end, but it'll only skip half of the final level, so you have to wait till the Bowser fight starts to activate it. And that's the game, fellas. Thanks for checking out this video. As you might have noticed if you're watching this video right after it comes out, we recently hit 1,000 subscribers, and me and the boys are in the YouTube Partner Program now. So thanks to everybody who's watched our videos over the years, and stay tuned for more. If you want to watch the full world record, I'll link it in the description for you. I'll also leave a link to Z-Cube's Warpless run and Awesome Games Done Quick last year, which took place just a couple days after the world record. Subscribe to Me Plays Games for more nonsense, including daily shorts. I'll see you all tomorrow. Good night, fellas. Sleep well.